Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Midwest Slice of Life. I'm your host, Marty, as always. And today we're going to start the story of Trivial Trivia, the Idiot Edition, the game that changed my life. We got part one coming at you in just a second. So if you're ready, let's do lunch. It's the Midwest Slice of Life Let's Do Lunch podcast. This week, Trivial Trivia, the Idiot Edition, Part 1, the idea, the game, the failure. Wah, wah, wah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Midwest Slice of Life. My name's Marty, as I stated in the other introduction, and we're gonna let's do lunch. My lunch today, I have any Seinfeld fan is familiar with this term, the big salad. There was a couple episodes where Elaine always got the big salad, and I love big salads. George's line always was, but you had to have the big salad. And I didn't do that very well, but that just cracked me up because I've always eaten big salads too. So here's mine. Mine is, and I took some pictures I did last week. I got a sesame Asian chopped salad kit. I got some chicken, seasoned chicken from the store. And the Asian kit comes with, it's chopped lettuce, carrots, cabbage, a bunch of chopped items. And then there's a kit with like crispy stuff like wontons, sliced almonds, some other sliced stuff, just crunchy things. Combine all them. I warmed up the chicken in a pan, poured the Asian dressing that they supply over the chicken, seasoned the chicken with hot sauce, pepper, cayenne pepper, and then put that on top of the salad. And I dressed the salad in balsamic vinegar and a sweet Italian dressing. So there's a ton of flavor going on in here. I'm going to dig in right now. Let me mess it up here a little bit. Let me get a piece of chicken, some of the salad, and give this a try. That chicken is really good. The crunchiness of the salad, really tasty. I've had this before, so I knew that I would like it. Really good. The chicken is just slightly warm. I let it cool. But it's really nice as far as the different flavors and consistencies. You can't beat this. And those chopped kits are so nice. I have one more bite. I finished this. That's really good. Good lunch. I'm going to finish the rest after I'm done filming. I always make them in a Tupperware bowl. That way you can take the top, put it back on. I'm going to put this in the fridge. I'll be back in just 1 second. We're going to have a little break here, but you won't really have one because I'll edit them together. And just like magic, we are back. I actually ate a lot of the salad, and instead of just putting it right into the fridge, I thought, well, we're cutting away anyway. And I think that's the way I'm going to do it. As I said last week, we're just going to kind of learn as we go here. But what I'm going to do, I've decided in the last couple minutes, show you what I'm going to have for lunch, have a couple bites. But see, I don't want to spend like a lot of time because I don't want these to get too long. People don't like to watch a long video. Show what I'm going to have a couple bites, tell you what I think of it. It's always going to be something I like. I'm usually going to be making it. And then I'll eat my lunch, then come back, and then we'll do the story. So that's what we're doing today. So, all right, salad, big salad, great, good lunch. Again, if you're eating lunch with me, let me know what you're having in the comments. A couple people did it last week, and it was a lot of fun. So now it's story time. And the story for this week, it's Trivial Trivia, the Idiot Edition, and it's part 1. I got it written down here. It's the idea, the game, the failure. because that's what it was in the beginning. So anyway, this goes back to September of 1985. There's a little backstory on it real quickly. It's September of 1985. I'm working at Fleming Potter. I'm working in the art department as a film stripper. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. It's a trade that technology killed. It no longer exists. But at the time, it was a pretty good trade to be in. So I'm a film stripper at Fleming Potter. There was about 10 of us in the department. A friend of mine, Greg Owens, he worked there too. And we were the two youngest guys in the department. And we used to trade cartoons back and forth just for the hell of it, usually making fun of other people in the department. Well, I did a cartoon of a guy playing, at the time, Trivial Pursuit was red hot. And so I drew a cartoon of a guy asking these idiotic questions like, how many members were in the original Jackson 5? Who's buried in Grant's tomb? And then at the top, I wrote Trivial Trivia, the Idiot Edition. I wish we still had that cartoon after all what happened. But anyway, I just gave it to Greg. He laughed. And then we went back to work. This was around lunchtime. So I went back to work. About an hour later, I'm in a dark room developing film, and Greg comes in with the cartoon. I said, hey, what's going on? He's like, could you think of many more of these kind of questions? And I'm like, yeah, I could think of a bunch of them. Why? Now, to Greg's credit, the game was all his idea. He said to me, you know, I've always wanted to do something like the Pet Rock. And this thing, we could make our own trivia game. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, if you write the questions and answers, we can have them printed on cards that kind of look like Trivial Pursuit cards, put them in a box. I can do the logo and the artwork, and we'll go to a local printer. The two of us know how that works, and we'll get some games printed up and just see what happens, get them in some local stores. And I'm like, you know, that would be fun. And again, all credit to Greg, because I never would have thought to do this. So I went home that night, wrote a bunch of questions and answers. Greg worked on the logo. We took it to a printer. We printed up 300 of them, and lo and behold, here it is. Trivial Trivia, the Idiot Edition. There's some on, I'm going to put one on the screen too. But that's the box. There's the back of it. Inside are the cards. I forget, I think like 50 cards or something. I forget how many questions were in here. I'll read a couple of them to you. What animal did the singing group The Monkees name themselves after? The Monkees. What day did Black Tuesday fall on? Tuesday. Why do Canadians always say, eh? It's their hobby. Some of these were like little joke ones like that. They weren't all just complete idiotic ones. But anyway, we thought it was a fun game. This is it. And so now Greg lived in Chillicothe. He still does. I'm here in Peoria. So we decided to take a day off from work after we had them printed. And this is now like maybe end of September, beginning of October of 1985. So we took a day off. He was going to go to stores in Chillicothe. I was going to go to Peoria. The first one I went to was Bogart's Drugstore on Glen. Those of you around my age probably remember it. All you youngsters out there, it's where Trinity is now, the weed place, right there on Glen. So I went there. I was a regular there. I had my prescriptions filled there. So I thought, well, and they knew me in there. So I thought, surely they'll try it out. So I went in, and there was an old crusty guy that was the manager, and I asked for him. And they're like, oh, he's in the back room over there. Just knock on the door. So I went, knock on the door, and he yells out, come on in. Open the door. I go in, and he's like, what do you need? And I had the game with me, and I'm like, my name's Marty Wambacher. I've seen you in here. I know you've seen me too. I'm a regular customer in here. And a friend of mine and I created this game. And he gave me a weird look. He's like, what do you mean you created a game? And again, back then, this is 1985, there weren't a lot of people doing do-it-yourself stuff like they do now. I mean, like with the internet, everybody's doing their own thing. We were kind of pioneers in this. And I'm like, we had this game printed up. We thought of it. It's a satire of Trivial Pursuit. It's Trivial Trivia, the Idiot Edition. Now, as I'm saying that, he's grabbing it from me. And he's looking at it and scowling and took a card out. Now he's reading the questions and looking at the answers and just making a face. And he's like, well, anyone can answer these. This is really stupid. There's no challenge to this. And I'm like, no, it's a joke. It's a satire. It's funny. It'd be like a gag gift. He took the game and threw it at me and said, I don't think it's funny. Now get out of here. So not only did he not just say, oh, thanks, but no thanks, or no, we don't stock stuff like this, it actually made him angry. I remember going to my car just thinking, fuck this place. I'll never come here again. But I thought, I can't believe it made him angry. So I continued then to go to the stores. I went to Fogler's, if you remember that, on Knoxville. I went to Ben Franklin. I went to a bunch of other variety hobby shops that sold stuff like this. And one after another, it was kind of the same reaction. People not only didn't like it, but they were visibly like angry about it. And I don't know, it's the fact that we did it. No one got the joke until I went to the Pierre Marquette gift shop. That was my last stop. I think I'd been in like 10 stores and been like thrown out of all of them, been called stupid. This doesn't make sense. Why would anybody buy this? I mean, just like I say, it wasn't just, oh, thanks, but no thanks. Oh, good job or whatever. Everybody was angry and mad about it. And I thought, I can't believe this reaction. So I go to the Pierre Marquette. I almost didn't go. And but I thought, let me just go there. I walk in, just feel like somebody had hit me in the head with a shovel. And kind of walk in all dejected. And as I walk into the gift shop, I see Vic Burnett behind the counter. And again, I keep going back to this theme. People my age will remember the name Vic Burnett. He was like the most popular weatherman in Peoria. He was on WEK 25 for a long time. And so I went in, and it's Vic Burnett behind the counter. And I'm like, you're Vic Burnett. I never met him. And he laughed. He said, yeah, that's me. And I said, what are you doing here? He's like, I own this. This is my gift shop. I said, but you're the weatherman. He said, yeah, I can do two things, He said, I run this during the day, and then somebody takes over at night, and I go do the weather. He said, I can do two things, And I kind of laughed and said, oh, okay. And he's like, what can I help you with? And I had the game. I'm like, give him the old spiel and created this game. But he was really intently listening to me. And I remember he even said, you created this with another guy. Kind of like really curious. And I'm like, yeah, we did it here. We wrote the whole thing. And I said, check out the questions. And I had already explained to him as a satire. He starts reading it. Now he's howling with laughter. And I'm thinking, thank God somebody gets it. He's howling. He said, this is hilarious. With Trivial Pursuit, you could spike a deck with these. I'm like, that's the idea. Either that or it'll make a great gag gift for Christmas. And he's like, oh, I love this. I'm like, so you want to stock it? I thought, wow, I'm in somewhere. And he said, I blew my Christmas budget and I don't really have any money. Maybe after the new year. And I'm thinking, oh, shit, the one guy that gets it isn't going to stock it now. Now, he's holding the game like this. And there was kind of an awkward silence then because I'm kind of all now downtrodden again. And he said, hey, could I ask you for a favor? And I said, yeah, what? Could I keep this game? I'd love to show it to somebody. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, you cheap son of a bitch. Not only are you not going to stock it, but you want to keep the game and you don't even offer to pay for it. If you would have offered, I probably would have said, just keep it. You're Vic Burnett. So I was real close to saying no. But I thought, fuck it. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Keep the game. And then I started walking away. He said, well, thanks a lot. And, come back after the new year. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I'm really, really down. It's like everybody else, gave me shit. The one guy that got it can't stock it. I'm just really down at this point. And this thing almost got away from me. Drive home. I call Greg. It's like 4 PM. He answered. And I'm like, how did you do? And he sounded as bad as I did. He's like, it didn't go too well. Nobody wanted it. And I said to him, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about you, but the places I went to, they not only didn't want it, but they were like angry about it. He said, yeah, I got the same thing. I didn't want to say anything. And I said, I don't know. I think maybe we made a big mistake here. I felt really like almost embarrassed about it. Like people were probably talking behind our backs, the ones we had shown. And I said to him, I'm like, well, you're not going to believe who I met in my travels. And he's like, who? I said, Vic Burnett. And Greg's like, the weather guy? I said, yeah. He owns the gift shop at the Pierre Marquette. And Greg's like, you're kidding me. I'm like, no. And he was the only one that got it. I said, he was really nice. He started reading the questions, was howling with laughter. And Greg's like, so is he going to stock it? And I said, no, he said he blew his budget maybe after the new year, but by then Christmas will be over. And I said, I just think maybe we should throw the towel in. And Greg said, yeah, I think so too. I'm like, we'll figure out what to do with those games. We were going to quit. I had it with this thing. And then I said to him, like, but guess what? I said, he had the game in his hand. And he's like, hey, could I ask a favor? And I said, yeah. He's like, could I keep this game? I'm like, and the cheap fucking guy wouldn't even offer to pay for it. And Greg's like, you didn't give it to him, did you? I'm like, we got 300 of these fucking games. I gave it to him. Who cares? Nobody else wants it. At least somebody's got one that appreciates it. So he kind of laughed, and we hung up. I told him I'd see him at work the next day. We hung up. I proceeded to make a beeline to my refrigerator, opened up the first of what would be many beers, and just got trashed. Trying to forget the horrible day, the fact that we did this game that nobody, not only did they not like, but it brought out anger in people. So I got trashed that night. We had to be, back in those days, we had to be to work at 7 in the morning. So I get up all hungover, feeling horrible, going to work. You know, I was trying to remember this. I can't remember what I said to Greg that day, but something happened that morning. Little did I know when I got to work that about 2 hours later, something that would happen that would start to alter the course of my entire life. And without that happening, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I wouldn't have done all the stuff I've done in the past. So that's going to be next week. You're going to find out what happened and all the ramifications from that. So that was part one of the Trivial Trivia, the Idiot Edition. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the story. There's going to be many, many more of these coming up in who knows how long we'll do this. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in to the Midwest Slice of Life. Let's do lunch. We'll be back next week for another lunch. We'll see you then.